Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine you've just poured your heart and soul into launching something new online. Maybe it's that eco-friendly e-commerce store you've dreamed of, or perhaps a service-based business.
Hmm.
Intuitively, that people need to find you online, right? And SEO, well, it comes up. Almost instantly, your inbox is probably flooded with pitches promising page one on Google instantly.
Ah, yes, the siren song of instant visibility. Sounds pretty appealing, doesn't it? Especially when you're eager for those first customers.
It really does. But deep down, you probably suspect instantly is a little, well, ambitious for something like organic search.
Definitely.
And that gets right to the core question we hear from so many entrepreneurs and small business owners. How long does it really take to see actual results from SEO?
Welcome to your marketing department, where we share the best tips for marketing your small business. And the full link to this topic is down in the description. Be sure to subscribe so that you never miss our latest update.
It's such a crucial question to ask because those instant page one claims, as the expertise we're diving into today highlights, that's almost always talking about paid advertising.
Right, pay-per-click stuff.
Exactly. And the fundamental difference is paid ads stop working the second your budget runs out. SEO, on the other hand, well, it's a long-term organic strategy that, if approached correctly, builds momentum and keeps working for you over time.
Exactly. So in this deep dive, our mission is to get a realistic picture of the SEO timeline. We're pulling insights from expertise that often guides much larger organizations, but we're making it accessible and, actionable for you, the entrepreneur.
And while the honest answer is it depends, we're going to break down exactly what it depends on and, maybe more importantly, what steps you can take to navigate and positively influence that timeline for your own business.
Okay, perfect. So let's start there. Why does it depend so much? What are the key factors that make one site see results faster than another?
Well, the expertise points to several critical elements. Competition is a huge one.
Right.
Think about it. If you're entering a super crowded market, like, say, general e-commerce selling clothing or electronics, you're competing with thousands, maybe millions of other sites.
Sites that have been around a while, too.
Exactly. Sites that have history, authority. Carving out a spot in the rankings there is naturally going to take longer than if you're in a very specific niche market with fewer businesses vying for those exact same search terms.
That makes total sense. It's
Yeah.
just harder to stand out in a massive crowd. What about the website itself? Does how old it is play a role?
Oh, it absolutely does. For search engines like Google, a brand new website is like the new kid on the block.
Okay.
Google needs time to crawl and index your site. Think of crawling as Google sending out little robots to read every page.
Like digital librarians.
Kind of, yeah. And indexing is like adding your site to its massive library of websites it knows about and can show in search results. This process takes time, and Google can sometimes be, well, months behind, especially for new sites.
Months? Wow.
Yeah. Older, established domains, they've already gone through this and have often built up what's called authority, essentially, trust and credibility in the eyes of search engines. It's built from their history and, existing links.
So patience is definitely a virtue, especially for a new domain. What about the actual stuff on the site? The content, how does that factor in?
Content is absolutely fundamental. The quality, the age, the freshness of your content, it's all key. Content that's high quality, provides real value, and genuinely answers user questions is really favored now.
So it's not just about jamming keywords in anymore.
Oh, definitely not. Just having keywords isn't enough. Search engines are much smarter now. They understand context and, crucially, user intent. Plus, refreshing or updating existing content signals relevance, while regularly publishing new, valuable content gives you more opportunities to rank for different search terms. It brings people in.
Okay. And beyond the words on the page, there are technical factors too, right? The stuff happening sort of behind the scenes.
Exactly. Technical SEO is really the foundation. Things like how fast your site loads,
For you, do, yeah.
whether it works perfectly on mobile devices, and if it's easy for both users and search engines to navigate, all critical. Search engines really prioritize sites that offer a great user experience.
Makes sense. They want happy searchers.
Precisely. And then there are things like schema markup, which is a type of code you can add. It helps search engines better understand specific pieces of info on your page, like reviews, product details, business hours, that kind of thing.
Right. And what about links to your site from other websites? Backlinks. I hear about those all the time.
Backlinks, yes. Those are often described as one of the most powerful ranking factors.
Really?
Yeah. When a reputable website links to yours, it's like a vote of confidence, you know? Search engines see this and think, okay, this site must have something valuable if others are pointing to it. But, and this is important, quality is far more important than quantity here.
Okay.
A few links from highly authoritative, relevant sites are worth far more than dozens from spammy or irrelevant ones.
Got it. So competition, site age, content quality, technical health, backlinks. That's quite a list.
Right.
Does the amount of resources you can put into it, like your budget, influence the speed?
Realistically, yes, it can. A larger budget might allow you to invest more heavily in creating high-quality content more frequently, or addressing technical issues faster, perhaps dedicating more resources to building those quality backlinks.
So you can just do more faster.
Essentially, yeah. It can potentially accelerate the implementation of your strategy, which in turn can speed up results. It's not guaranteed, but it helps.
And finally, where are you starting from? Is it easier if the site already has some history, some groundwork laid?
Definitely. If your website already has some existing SEO groundwork, maybe decent content, some backlinks built over time, or a relatively clean technical setup, you're starting from a better position, you'll likely see faster progress.
Compared to starting from absolute zero.
Exactly. Or compare it to facing a significant challenge, like inheriting a site that had major technical issues. Or there's an example mentioned, a site that was actually removed from Google's index by a previous team.
Wow, removed entirely. That sounds like the ultimate SEO night.
It pretty much is. Fixing a fundamental problem like being de-indexed takes significant time before you can even begin making positive progress. You're digging out of a hole first.
Okay, so we understand the factors that influence the timeline. Now let's talk about what you, the listener, can actively do to make your SEO efforts as efficient as possible, to potentially speed things up within that realistic time frame.
Right. One of the most important things is structuring your content properly. Using header tags like H1, H2, H3, creating a clear hierarchy.
Like an outline for the page.
Exactly. It helps both users navigating your page and search engines understand the main topics and subtopics. Makes your content easier to digest, easier for search engines to crawl and index effectively. An efficient website menu also falls under this. Good navigation is just key.
So clear organization, that's fundamental. We talked about content quality before, but are there specific approaches to writing for SEO now?
Absolutely. The key shift really is writing for users first. Always.
Not for the Google robot.
Not primarily, no. Your content should provide real value, directly answer the questions your potential customers are asking, and do so naturally. Instead of trying to stuff keywords in everywhere, which doesn't work anyway, focus on user intent.
User intent, meaning what they're actually looking for.
Precisely. Understanding what the person typing that query into Google is actually trying to achieve or find. If your content genuinely meets their need, search engines will recognize that and reward you. Quality and relevance beat keyword density every time.
Okay. And user experience, you mentioned that as a factor, but it's also something we can actively work on, right? Make it better.
Absolutely. Ensuring fast load times across all devices, making sure your site is seamlessly mobile-friendly, having intuitive navigation. These aren't just nice-to-haves anymore.
They're essentials.
They really are. Search engines use user behavior metrics as ranking signals. If users are bouncing off your slow, hard-to-use site, it tells Google it wasn't a good result for that search. So prioritizing a smooth UX is basically prioritizing what search engines want.
How about connecting different pages on your own site? Linking internally, does that help much?
Yes, that's internal linking, and it's a powerful, often underestimated technique.
Oh, okay.
By strategically linking related pages within your own website, you help search engines understand the relationship between your different pieces of content, the hierarchy. It also keeps users on your site longer, exploring related topics, which again signals engagement and value.
Right, keeps them clicking around. And backlinks, you called those one of the most impactful factors. How do you proactively build those high-quality ones? It sounds hard.
It requires a deliberate backlink strategy. It's not passive. It's about actively seeking out opportunities to get links from authoritative and relevant websites in your industry.
So reaching out.
Sometimes, yes. But critically, this isn't about buying links that can really hurt you. It's more about creating content that's so valuable others want to link to it naturally. Or, yes, reaching out to relevant sites with a compelling reason why linking to your resource or page benefits their audience. It's foundational for building authority and rankings.
Okay, so we know the factors, and we know some key best practices. Let's flip it. What are the most common mistakes entrepreneurs make? The things that can really set them back or even harm their SEO efforts?
A classic pitfall mentioned often is keyword stuffing.
Still, people still do that.
Apparently so. It was an old tactic where people would just jam their target keyword into content repeatedly. Today, that looks totally unnatural. It reads poorly for users, and search engines will actually penalize you for it.
Because they're smarter now.
Much smarter. They understand synonyms, context, the whole topic. The focus has to be on writing naturally for your audience.
Okay, so trying to trick the algorithm is definitely out. What else trips people up?
Ignoring technical SEO. We talked about it as a factor, but neglecting it is a really common mistake.
Thinking it's just about words.
Yeah, thinking SEO is just about keywords and content and ignoring site speed, mobile optimization, clean website addresses, URLs, and fixing crawl errors. It's like building a beautiful house on a shaky foundation. Search engines need to be able to easily access and understand your site. If they can't crawl it properly, nothing else matters.
Right. And I imagine those unrealistic expectations we started with probably lead to another big mistake, like giving up.
Absolutely. Expecting immediate results and then giving up too soon is incredibly common. And it's self-defeating.
Because it takes time.
Exactly. SEO takes time to build momentum and show tangible results. We're talking months, not days or weeks. If you stop your efforts just as they're starting to gain traction, maybe around month 3 or 4, you'll never see the potential payoff.
That really highlights the importance of patience and consistency. There's a really interesting specific example shared about a mistake related to working with an SEO team. Can you share that one? It sounded important.
Yes, this one is really powerful because it speaks to integration and transparency. The expertise highlights that a major mistake is treating SEO as this siloed task, totally separate from your other business and marketing activities.
Right, like it's just this technical thing someone does.
Exactly. And they shared the story about a client who, without telling their SEO team, suddenly stopped one of their most effective existing marketing strategies right after a new website launched. Just pulled the plug.
Why on earth would they do that?
Well, the client apparently wanted to test the new SEO results in isolation without any other marketing activities running to see purely what the SEO did.
Ah, okay. I can see the logic, kind of, but
But the SEO strategy had been designed specifically to work with and amplify the existing successful marketing strategy. Stopping it without notice completely disrupted the planned integrated approach. It made accurately tracking the impact of the SEO efforts nearly impossible, and it totally undermined accountability. It just underscores why open communication and a coordinated strategy across all your marketing channels are absolutely crucial for SEO success. It's not just a technical thing you do on the side, it has to work together.
that's a fantastic real-world example of how things can go wrong if you don't treat it holistically. Okay, so if you're listening and maybe realizing, uh-oh, I might have made some of these mistakes, what can you do to course correct?
Okay, first step, audit your site. You need to get a clear picture of your starting point.
Know where you stand.
Exactly.
Huh?
Identify those technical issues, slow load times, mobile problems, crawl errors, whatever's holding you back. Tools like Google Search Console, which is free, or paid ones like Ahrefs or SEMrush can help. Or you can get a professional SEO audit. Knowing the fundamental problems is the very first step to fixing them.
And then tackle the content, I assume.
Precisely. Revisit your content strategy. Stop focusing on stuffing keywords, if you ever were. Instead, try to deeply understand your audience's user intent. What are they really looking for? Then create high-quality content that directly addresses their specific questions and needs.
Provide real value.
That's the goal. Prioritize providing genuine value. This is where focusing on more specific long-tail keywords, those longer phrases people type into Google when they know exactly what they're looking for, can be really effective.
Okay. And underpinning all of this, what's the key ingredient?
Consistency. This is perhaps the most critical takeaway, honestly. SEO success builds over time. It compounds. You have to stay consistent with your effort.
It's showing up.
Yes. Regularly updating existing content, publishing new valuable pieces, fixing technical issues as they arise, and consistently working on building quality backlinks. It's the ongoing, steady effort that really drives results.
All right, let's talk about those results then. If you're doing the consistent work, fixing issues, focusing on quality, how do you know it's actually working? What should you be tracking? What are the signs?
You should focus on key performance indicators, or KPIs. The most straightforward is organic traffic.
Visitors from search engines.
Right. The number of visitors coming to your site directly from unpaid search results. Seeing that number grow over time is a clear sign of progress.
More visitors finding you through Google is definitely a good indicator.
What else? Yes. You also want to track your keyword rankings. See how the specific keywords you're targeting are moving up, hopefully, in the search results pages.
So are you getting closer to page 1 for the terms that matter?
Exactly. This helps you understand if your content and optimization efforts are effective for those terms, and it helps you refine your strategy going forward.
But traffic isn't the end goal for most businesses, is it? You want that traffic to actually do something useful.
Precisely. That's where conversion rate comes in. Are the people finding you through search actually taking the actions you want them to on your site?
Like signing up, contacting you, buying something.
Exactly. Signing up for a newsletter, filling out a contact form, making a purchase. A growing conversion rate from organic traffic tells you that your SEO isn't just bringing in people, but the right kind of people, those who are likely to become customers or leads.
That's the money metric, really. Okay, super helpful. All right, the moment of truth, maybe. Putting some numbers to it. With all these factors and best practices in mind, what's the average realistic timeline people can expect to see these KPIs moving? When do things start happening?
Okay, so based on industry data and experience, you can typically expect to start seeing measurable improvements, things you can actually track, like rankings and organic traffic, within about 4 to 6 months of consistent, focused SEO work.
4 to 6 months. Okay.
Yeah, data from various reliable sources often show initial results appearing in that sort of 3 to 6 month window. So 4-6 is a good general expectation for seeing the needle start to move.
Okay, so not overnight, definitely not instantly, but within roughly half a year, you should see something starting to shift if you're doing the right things.
Correct. That's for the initial measurable improvements.
What about more significant, really impactful growth? The kind that makes a difference to the bottom line.
That's where the compounding effect really kicks in. More substantial growth, where you see significant traffic increases and a noticeable impact on your business leads or sales, often occurs between 6 and 12 months.
6 to 12 months.
Yeah, and it continues to build from there, assuming you maintain your efforts. Now, this time frame can definitely be shorter in very low competition niches or potentially longer in highly competitive ones, and it always heavily depends on the quality and consistency of the work being done.
Or all those factors we talked about earlier. Can you break down what you should sort of expect or focus on in those initial phases, like month by month almost?
Yeah, we can think of it in stages, aligning with those timelines.
Okay.
Months 1 to 3. This phase is primarily foundational. Really focus on identifying and fixing technical SEO issues first. Conduct thorough keyword research to truly understand user intent in your market. Audit and improve your existing content.
Getting the house in order.
Exactly. Initial improvements might be subtle, maybe small ranking bumps for less competitive terms. And honestly, for complex or very large sites, or sites with big problems, technical fixes alone can consume most of this time.
Okay, foundation. Then what?
Months 4 to 6. If you've been consistent with the foundational work and started building content and maybe some links, this is when you should start seeing those first measurable improvements we talked about. Rankings for some target keywords will begin to climb. Organic traffic should show a clear upward trend.
Okay, things are starting to look up.
Right. You should be actively building quality backlinks by now and ideally have established regular procedures, SOPs, for creating and publishing new, high-quality content.
Got it. And then beyond 6 months.
Months 6, 12, and beyond, this is where you should see continued and often accelerating growth. Organic traffic should be climbing more noticeably, and importantly, you should start seeing a real impact on conversions, leads, sales, whatever your goal is. The investment you've made starts to really pay off.
And the key is?
Keep going. Keep analyzing your results, refining your strategy based on what's working, and staying consistent. Because the results really do build on themselves over time. It's a snowball effect.
That phase approach makes it feel much more manageable. Is there an example, maybe a case study, that shows this kind of progress in action?
Yes, absolutely. There's a good case study referenced of a service industry client. They implemented a comprehensive SEO strategy, tackled the technical fixes, optimized their content for user intent, and did consistent backlink outreach over a 6-month period.
Okay, hitting all the key areas.
Exactly. By the end of those 6 months, they saw a 25% increase in organic traffic.
Wow, that's significant.
It is. And crucially, this wasn't just random traffic hitting the site. It was the right audience. They saw a 15% increase in qualified leads during that same 6-month time frame.
So real business impact directly tied to the SEO work within that initial 4-6 month expectation window.
Precisely. It's a concrete example of the kind of results consistent strategic effort can yield.
That's fantastic. You mentioned tools earlier like Google Search Console and RFs and SEMrush. Are those the standard ones you'd recommend people check out if they want to monitor this stuff?
They are, yes. Google Search Console is essential, and it's free. It shows you how Google sees your site, reports critical errors, tracks basic performance. It's a must-have.
Okay.
Tools like RFs and SEMrush are paid, but they're much more comprehensive. They offer deep dives into keyword research, competitor analysis, backlink tracking, detailed technical audits. They're really powerful resources for actively managing and monitoring your SEO efforts.
Good to know. All these insights, the structured approach, the realistic timelines, this is the kind of expertise that, frankly, typically costs a fortune for big companies. It's really valuable that this level of understanding is being made accessible.
Well, that's definitely the goal here. The expertise we've drawn from for this deep dive comes from Unscrewed Marketing, and they leverage decades of experience working at senior levels for, Fortune 500s and large nonprofits. But now they focus on bringing that effective, efficient, and affordable marketing knowledge specifically to entrepreneurs and smaller businesses.
Helping level the playing field online.
That's the idea, helping smaller businesses compete effectively. And as we mentioned earlier, they even offer a free SEO audit, which is a great practical next step for anyone listening. It helps identify the most critical issues on your site right now and understand your starting point. Gives you a roadmap.
Excellent. So to wrap things up then, if we boil it all down.
SEO is fundamentally an investment, not a quick fix like paid ads. It absolutely requires strategic, consistent effort over time. But the payoff is building a sustainable online presence that reliably brings in your ideal customers month after month.
And understanding the realistic timeline, those 4 to 6 months for initial measurable results, maybe 6 to 12 months for more significant growth. And knowing the factors that influence it, like competition and site health, helps you manage your expectations. And maybe more importantly, it helps you focus your energy on the right things. The technical health of your site, creating high-quality content that serves users, building authority through things like backlinks, and just staying consistent.
It's about turning this knowledge into a clear plan, not just getting overwhelmed by the complexity.
Absolutely.
You can do this.
So here's maybe a thought to leave you with. Consider that the true power of SEO isn't just the chase for top rankings, although that's nice. It's the creation of a sustainable, resilient online asset for your business, one that continues to attract customers and generate leads long after a fleeting paid campaign would have ended, provided you commit to that consistent, quality, and transparent approach we've been talking about today.
A few months from now, you're either going to be relieved that you fixed your marketing or regretting that you didn't. The guesswork, the wasted budget, the missed leads, it doesn't have to keep happening. Grab your 360-degree marketing assessment now at unscrewedmarketing.com and let's get you a strategy that actually works before you lose more time chasing tactics that don't.